Okay, so we are going to speak about the first challenge. And I have two experts from BBVA in order to elaborate it a little bit. On my left side is Javier Escribano, he's a manager at the open market team. And Daniel Jones, who is from Idaho, the States, by the way, exotic. He's leading one of the most relevant teams as well in BBVA, which is advanced analytics in client solutions. So the name of the challenge is new sources of data for onboarding, optimization, and risk assessment. And first question is for Javier, and it's for the sake of providing or giving some background. And what is open market at BBVA, Javier?
Open market, from our point of view, is a program that we are developing that has like two main areas where we are working right now. The first one is increasing the amount of customers that we are attracting through digital processes. Those digital processes need to meet some criteria, like for example, they should be end-to-end, 100% real-time. They also need to try to improve or reduce the amount of documents that the customer is providing, and also the physical signatures. We are also working in the kind of know your customer part module. We are developing a specific module for that with a joint venture that we have recently created. And the idea is that it's really cutting edge comparing what is in the market right now. But it's not only about volume or increasing the amount of customers that we have right now. We are also working in the other areas like creating more value with those customers, like increasing or the engagement they have with our bank. So we are really focusing those two areas, increasing the customer base and also increasing the engagement of those customers.
And just for clarify, there is a big difference between the analog or physical onboarding and digital onboarding in terms of customer experience and also the efforts for the bank. Can you explain a bit about this?
In our branches, we have analogical processes. So you have the social touch. You have people who make the onboarding and really can ask you for different documents or whatever. People really don't have that kind of pain for providing that information. But in the digital processes, we need to really simplify that. That means that we need to reduce the amount of data that we are asking our customers, and that usually means that we also need to simplify our scoring models, for example. And we also need to ensure that you are the person who are really doing the process. And that means that we need to ensure the identification and verification of the documentation and all the things that are related with that. And also we need to try to reduce the fraud with accessing to other providers, other data sources, whatever. And that's why the challenge is really important for us, because we need those data sources to be connected to provide that information to our digital processes.
Okay, so as you can see, fraud prevention and risk assessment is key. It's a key issue in this scenario. So let's go with Daniel. How do you work at customer analytics or advanced analytics with departments, business units like open market or related departments like fraud or risks? How do you do that?
So the role of advanced analytics in BBVA is to foster innovation through data. So we are leading the transition from a traditional financial institution towards a data-driven company. And being a data-driven company means that we create products and services, let's say solutions, that are based on data. So this approach with the business units involves helping them understand what can and what can't be done using data, helping them envision how data can enhance their offerings, and we always try to stretch their innovative vision one step, two steps further by introducing or suggesting new data features. Sometimes those data features can be internally developed, and if not, we help them find the most suitable partners that are available in the market and adequately integrating those partners into the BBVA ecosystem. Over the past years, we've built an extraordinary analytical capacity internally with data scientists, data engineers, the actual data platform. And all of this is enabling us to deliver a lot of the data-driven solutions that the business units demand in order for them to create their digital offerings and launch them onto the market. With the control units, our role is to challenge status quo, create disruption in a controlled way. So we never take no for an answer, and we always focus on how things can be sorted out in BBVA. And I must say that the control units such as legal, risk, compliance, finance, and so on are slowly, progressively moving and adopting this type of mindset because there's a clear mandate from top management in BBVA to make things happen, to make innovation and transformation a reality.
So you're a kind of a game changer.
Totally.
BBVA.
We try to at least.
Okay. So Javier, let's drill down a little bit on the data. What kind of specific data are you looking for in this challenge?
So any kind of data is welcome. We need to get, for example, personal data, really important for us. Data related with your personal revenues, personal costs, really important also. Information related with your address, the properties you have, all things related with fraud, like for example, what are the different blacklists where that person could be, if a specific email address is being used for fraud in other companies or in other e-commerce or entities. So I would say that any kind of data is welcome, but we need to be able to connect to that information in real time and in a really easy way. That's what I would say that is important to us.
Okay. And Daniel, how can we manage third-party data at BBVA?
So there are two ways, at least two ways, to integrate external data sources into the BBVA ecosystem. So the first one is accessing third-party data in the form of a set of client variables. Let's think of several variables or many of them. Each of those variables must have a specific meaning and interpretability for us. And that allows us to introduce them into our analytic processes and optionally enrich them with internal data we may already have or pieces of data that open market prospects are providing online upon application. So this is the ideal scenario. Unfortunately, it's not always available because third parties, they may be reluctant. They often feel like they are sharing or giving away their secret sauce ingredients, and they might prefer not to do that. So the other option is to buy a score from a third party, a score that has already been condensed, therefore potentially has less meaning for us. Let's think of it as a risk score that ranks clients from 1 to 10. So in this case, BBVA has to rely on the analytics process that the third party has already executed. It can be like a black box because we only get access to the final output, to a single synthetic item of data per client.
Okay.
So we prefer obviously the first scenario for obvious reasons, but we're open to engage in either model.
We have time for another question, and it's also about you, for you, sorry. Since the main geographies that we are aiming with this challenge are countries in Latin America, and there is no GDPR there, does this makes things easier for us? Or
yes and no. So regarding GDPR, the bottom line is that the data belongs to the consumers. And we, as a financial institution, we are granted permission from most of our clients to access and use their data in order to improve product offerings, enhance customer experience, provide personalized advice, and so on. But this general principle of data ownership by the consumer is something that we apply in all geographies that we do business in, because we believe it's common sense, it protects the consumer, and it gives us the responsibility to handle data to the clients' and prospects' best interest. And it also allows us to continue building trust with our clients, which is such a core and fundamental element of our business model. So European Union GDPR is the strictest framework among all jurisdictions that we serve in. Not having GDPR in Latin America or in the US makes life a little bit easier, but just a bit, because a lot of markets are moving towards GDPR-like regulation. Some states in the US, with California taking the lead. Also some states in Mexico are in that transition. So usually we prefer to apply most of the GDPR principles worldwide in order to be prepared for the very likely changes yet to come in a lot of markets expected to converge towards GDPR at some point.
okay. So if you are a startup or a company that might be interested in participating in this challenge, please join us. If you need more information, you can drop by our BBVA stand in the middle of the corridor. And thank you for your attention.